The plan is all coming together for Starmer and this Labour government. After all, leopards don't change their spots. And we have seen Labour do this before. Labour have been blasted as corrupt after a recent bid has been launched by the government. In today's video, of course, we will discuss the details of this, whilst also going over some of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like and subscribe button for more. Plans to get rid of the remaining hereditary peers from the House of Lords have been set out by the government, marking the biggest shake-up of Parliament in a quarter of a century. Abolishing the 92 seats reserved for hereditary peers, who inherit their titles through their families, was one of Labour's general election promises. The aim is to finish reforms introduced by the last Labour government, which in 1999 revoked the 700-year-old right of all hereditary peers to sit in the Lords, leaving just 92 as a compromise with the Conservatives. Following this, Farage has came out and blasted the move as he said it was corrupt and a way of filling the seats with their mates and party donors. He said, "I don't think the standing of the House of Lords has ever been lower in British public opinion than it is today. People can see it sadly for what it is. It's being used simply for patronage. In my case, a totally corrupt attempt to try and buy us off a few years ago before the 2019 general election. This is, of course, I refused, but is disgusting." Following this, Clyde Lord Strath stated they are doing this to fill Parliament with their own people. He said, "The heredities got kicked out last at the end of the last century, with 92 left behind, and all the Blairites did was stuff the House with their own cronies and with their placement, and that's what they're going to do again." He continued, "They get rid of 40-odd Conservatives, 30-odd crossbenchers, and that's the opposition, and they will replace them with their own people. I fully expect 50 new peers to be created over the next few months by Starmer and his gang, and that's why we will never get the proper reform this country needs. This is a disgrace, although I'm glad it is being called out by Farage and others for what it is. Corruption. What are your thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comments." Reform UK MP Lee Anderson has raged at Ed Miliband's net zero plans, claiming in an interview that the Energy Secretary is now Britain's most dangerous man. Asked by Martin Daubney how Labour can be expected to go about plugging the public finance black hole, Lee took aim at Miliband's eco plans. He said the funds generated by their decision to cut winter fuel payments can be achieved by slashing some of the energy proposals. "This week, we've had Mad Miliband, the most dangerous man in Britain, bleating on about GB Energy," he said. "That's £8.5 billion foreign climate aid, another £11 billion. There's £20 billion this man is spaffing away. This, by the way, is taxpayers' money. You've got pensioners in my neck of the weeds scraping through on about 15 grand a year. They are going to have this winter fuel allowance ruthlessly stole off them while train drivers are on 70 grand a year. It's an absolute disgrace." Miliband has argued the party's flagship GB Energy company will shield consumers from international market shocks while creating jobs and supply chains. He told MPs, "The truth is that we had the worst cost of living crisis in a generation because of our exposure to fossil fuels. We have seen prices rise again on October 1st, not because of decisions made by government, but because of our dependence on international gas markets. The argument for clean energy that we used to debate 15 years ago was a climate argument. It is now as much an energy security argument as a climate argument." But according to Lee, pensioners are being put at the bottom of the pile as a result. "These are political decisions. It's a choice between these things and pensioners," he said. "But unfortunately, they are putting our pensioners at the bottom of the pile. If MPs and peers pass the Great British Energy Bill, they will give Miliband the power to set up the firm." The bill cleared its first Commons hurdle on Thursday after MPs gave it a second reading by 348 to 95, majority 253. It will undergo further scrutiny at a later date. Lastly, a local authority is set to remove a crucial parking benefit for Blue Badge users as it gets ready to trial new enforcement cameras. Tunbridge and Malling Council is looking to install automatic number plate recognition cameras on a 12-month trial. The cameras would be installed across 2 council-owned car parks, but drivers have been warned the move will affect the most vulnerable. Blue Badge holders who currently can park at Haysden Country Park and at Weston Road in Borough Green for free will no longer be given the crucial benefit. Under the new proposal, the council stated, "Currently disabled drivers with a blue badge can park for free. If we move to number plate enforcement, these blue badges can't be identified and they will need to pay at the ANPR sites." The cameras would replace the existing pay and display machines at Haysden County parks, would mean the same enforcement and charges will be encountered by all users. The cost of setting up and using the new cameras is estimated at £70,000, with £5,000 alone used to create an options report and the production of a specification to seek quotations. There will also be new fees added for the operation and management of the ANPR system and an increase in maintenance costs due to vandalism or damage. The cameras by the end of the year and will be in place on a trial basis for 1 year, but this could be extended if successful. Official documents stated, "Introduce and manage the operation of an ANPR system in 2 council car parks." This will include the installation of required equipment, new entry-exit point camera, barrier, payment point and signage, management of the system and collection of revenue. It added, "The project will enable an assessment of whether the more widespread introduction of ANPR across other councils' car parks should be considered. This may be achieved by using a third party to deliver and manage the project on our behalf." But the suggested parking changes have been met with mixed support from drivers, with some suggesting that if Transport for London can differentiate between blue badge holder cars and others, so can this council. Other drivers were not as convinced. One person shared, "ANPR take entrance and exit photos of cars at the entrance to car park. I have never known one to recognise blue badges. Because of this, it looks like the blue badge holders will have to argue their case. Absolutely disgusting. I think that the only positive action out of this is there might be a job up for grabs to sort it out and help the blue badge holders. It's a disgrace." Councillors Lee Athwal and Mark Hood from the Green Party had asked in the meeting about the new arrangements, why there was not more being put in place to ensure that blue badge holders were being excluded in the plans to introduce new technology to the car parks. The party said, "We were told that the council will now be looking at the way residents can register in advance to be able to access automatic number plate recognition car parks, as is the case in areas like Ashford and Canterbury." We also asked why these proposals had not been brought to the relevant committee for discussion by members before being decided by the Cabinet. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.